Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the second session in the series where we are talking about how to be free from the suffering. And last week we spoke about three roles that we usually take when we suffer, and they create a drama triangle. And we spoke about uh, the role of being a victim. Yeah. Now, today we want to talk about the role of a rescuer. Yeah. So, if we see the role of victim in the drama triangle takes the least of the energy, and after that, the next energy consumption more than the victim role that happens is with the rescuer. Now, rescuer is somebody who's not a direct victim of the situation or the perpetrator, but when they look at the victim, they feel bad. They get an urge to help and rescue the victim from their pain or from their suffering. Now, in a general term, if we look at this, if somebody comes to me and asks for some kind of help with their problem, should I not help them? If it is in my capacity, I can help them, right? So, how is the role of rescuer in drama triangle different than helping when it is asked? So, first of all, if a person is choosing to help after they have been asked to help and they are doing it in their capacity in all possible ways, time wise, energy wise, and action wise, then it is a healthy help. But here in drama triangle, rescuer is not helping in that way. As I said, rescuer has the urge to help. So it is more of a rescuer's need that the suffering for the victim should end. So rescuer will try to go out of their way, make it their own problem, and try to help the victim. So in this case, though it looks like rescuer is a stronger person than the victim, if we look at it, the victim who is actually suffering, yeah, on the surface, in the foreground, is not doing anything about it. But more than a victim, the rescuer is doing something. And rescuer is actually getting troubled by what is happening to the victim or what the perpetrator is doing. So who is the real victim here? The rescuer is the real victim. Rescuer thinks that they are using their strengths to help the victim, but end of the day, the rescuer keeps suffering to see victim in pain. So if I take this to the therapy world, when a person who is in rescuer mode comes to us to ask for uh, any therapeutic help, where they want to help somebody else, as a therapist, our first job is to bring their focus to themselves. Because we can't help somebody outside of us, or we can't change somebody outside of us. We can't change something outside of us. We can always work on how we feel when we see that situation or see that person going through something painful. So, if a rescuer is getting aware of that, it is not their problem to begin with, but they have made it as their own problem, then the first thing they can become aware of is their healthy boundary. And then they can look at what in me is making me, go and try to change the situation. Maybe there is a helplessness, maybe there is a sadness. Yeah. So the rescuer can turn around and look at that how they can actually uh, bring the focus on the self from the victim and the perpetrator, and become free from the drama track. Yeah. Priya, do you have anything to add over here?
I think pretty much you have, summed up what we want to talk about. Maybe I can give an example that
Yeah.
happened just today. So there was this client who walked in, and she is the second daughter in the family. And her elder sister is working in a different city. And she is studying in a different city. And her parents live alone in Aurangabad. And her parents have been telling her elder sister that you have enough lived out of the house, now come back. Now, this is a conversation between the parents and the elder sister. But this client, who is the younger sister, she comes and she says, I want my elder sister to come back because my parents are lonely and they have been asking her to come back. And I feel that my sister is wrong and I want to do something for my parents. Now, did the parents ask her for help? No. Did the elder sister come and tell her something about the situation? No. Now, this is a perceived situation where she feels that her parents are a victim to the situation and her elder sister should be behaving a particular way. And she is jumping in as the rescuer and is fixed in a dilemma as to how to handle the situation because she feels responsible to handle the situation. Now, this is as slight as how we can get into rescuer mode out of love, out of feeling a part of the family. And today, when I told her who is there in the conversation, she said, my father, maybe my mother, and my sister. I said, where are you? Did any one of them come and ask you for help? And that's when she realized how she herself had fixed herself into the dilemma of helping her parents when they actually didn't even ask for it. So the rescuer can be as subtle as that or as simple as that. Yes or no, Gayatri?
Yeah.
And we ourselves get into a rescue mode, thinking and assuming that the victim is a victim. So it is important to realize, like in the last webinar also we said, it is important to realize our role in the drama or in the situation that we play. Yeah, that's what I had to add.
Yeah. This brings me to a point. You might be thinking that if a rescuer has good intentions to resolve the situation, then why is it not ending the victim's suffering? Because intention is good. So many people say, no, but my intention is so good. Then it should help. And we are saying drama triangle says that these roles will make the situation and suffering and the pain continue instead of resolving it. Why so? Because, like Priya gave this example, first of all, we are talking about drama triangle when such situations occur in the adults. For children, these roles won't apply. If a child is a victim, rightfully an adult will stand up to help them, right? That's again a different story. But here, when a victim who is also an adult and a rescuer is jumping even before, either they are assuming that whom they are seeing in pain is a victim, or the person also feels like a victim. But even before they ask for help, when the rescuer is assuming what help the victim needs, they are downplaying the victim. Maybe victim is thinking about something, they are taking their time, they are trying to use and bring their resources out. But when a rescuer has jumped in, that opportunity has been taken away from the victim. Right? So, in a way, they are becoming more of victim. That, poor they can't do it. So, in this way, and because it is not like Priya said, the conversation is between parents and the elder sister. So they need to sit, they need to talk, and they need to resolve. So when the third person is going to come, it is always going to create more of imbalance than any resolution or bringing it to any kind of balance. Yeah. And as she said, that she wants to do something to, bring her sister back. So Priya asked her who is involved in the actual situation and conversation. Next question would be, how does she feel when she is not able to help? What happens to her seeing her parents being lonely? So she is actually trying to avoid her emotional reaction to the situation because it is difficult for her to feel her helplessness or sadness or guilt, maybe. So that is how, even though the intention is good, she is not looking at her own emotion. She has unintentionally taken away the ability of a victim to use their strength and power to come out of this. That's how the situation and the pain will continue in different form, maybe. So many times people fix situations in this way, right? But the real issue in the background, that doesn't get resolved. So we are not saying we should not be helpful towards people, but we first need to understand, if we are a rescuer in any situation, then where are we coming from and what is the real issue? So I think that's how, even though intentions are good, rescuer may not like to hear it, but it won't help anyone in the situation. And in the end, the if the rescuer continues to behave in the same manner and situation is still not changing, then they will feel victim of the situation because they have exhausted their energy. So then how to convert this from drama triangle to the empowerment? Uh, what we were saying, the empowerment triangle or
The
the
empowerment
empowerment
dynamic.
dynamics? Yeah.
The empowerment dynamic, TED.
Yeah. Priya, you would like to start here?
Yeah. One more thing that I would like to add is even simple conversations when we go and speak to friends with any problem. And at that time, a person is actually in a victim mode because they are in a problem, right? So when they go and speak to a friend, and if the friend has gone through something similar, then this friend tries to give a solution from their perspective of how they solved it and tries to fit that solution to your problem. So even if the problem seems the same, that solution might not fix into your solution because they say now one solution doesn't apply to everyone because everyone's life is very, very unique. So even if the rescuer has been through a similar situation, has cracked it for themselves, and wants to share that this is what I did when I went through something like this, it is not quite necessary that the person in a problem who is a victim of the situation can come out in the similar way as the person wanting to help. So that takes us to the conversation around how does the rescuer in the drama triangle become the coach in the empowerment dynamic. Okay. The major difference between these two is the rescuer thinks that the victim is not in an empowered state and I need to help the victim and I need to provide the solution. So the burden of solving the problem comes on the rescuer when actually the problem is of the victim. In the empowerment dynamic, the coach makes the so-called victim or the person in the problem to create a solution for themselves in that problem. What can you do the best? What do you want? What kind of help do you need? What kind of support do you want? So, the major difference between a rescuer and a coach is the rescuer jumps into the problem and tries to solve it. A coach stays out of the problem and allows the person to do it for themselves. So, hold space for the creator to find a, a way out of the situation. Either look at their own feelings, or look at their own thoughts, or find a conscious effort in a particular direction, whatever it is. So the coach allows the creator to create the solution for the problem, which can be very unique to their life. So the burden of solving the problem does not come on the coach. It remains as an empowering context with the creator. The kind of questions that a rescuer, or the kind of conclusions that the rescuer has in a drama triangle is, you can't do it, I can do it better. You are not enough capable, I am more capable than you. You don't know how to do it, I know more. In an empowerment dynamic, the questions are more around, how do you feel? What are your thoughts about the situation? What is it that exactly happened, and how is it that you are perceiving it? Where do you want to reach from here? What kind of support do you need for it? Or what kind of strengths do you want to gather to make this problem into a solution? So these are the questions that a coach might ask the person so that they can solve the problem for themselves. Right? Am I right, Gayatri?
Yeah,
There's
perfect.
something you want to add, anything that I missed out?
No, I think that again sums up, pretty much everything that we have to share. And I I believe that uh, like the last time we spoke about how a victim can become a creator, and this week we are saying that how a rescuer can become a coach. Now, if we see, there is a transfer of energy, right? Now, creator will come in the foreground, and rescuer will be in the who has become the coach will become the one in the background. So the transfer of energy is from rescuer to the creator. The coach will be there, but coach will allow the creator to choose what help do they need, and rescuer then again has a choice to think about how much of the help which a creator is asking for can come from them. Yeah, that brings them in a healthy place. So I think that's what that we had to share with you all.
I think certain examples that in real life where we play the rescuer mode, um, I think one of the major places that we feel like a rescuer is when the parents are old and aging, and we are in a healthier place than what they are. That is one of the places I feel that we want to get into the rescuer mode. Or when the children are, in the growing ages, like teens, a little older, not very small children. When they are around 18, 19, 20, they have an identity about themselves, they have their own thoughts, and yet the parent feels that the child is not able enough to handle their lives. That's another place I feel that a person gets into a rescuer mode. Where else do you think, Gayatri, are the real life examples around being a rescuer?
I feel, as you said, the parents trying to be a rescuer. We meet many parents who come with their personal agendas and they want to bring in their children for therapy. and they expect us to work with the children for their intentions. So that's a complete rescuer thing, which does not resolve the real issue. Uh, my knowledge of family constellation tells me that uh, we start, we try to rescue our parents at times or elder siblings at times, much before we understand the logic behind the pain or the situations. Because uh, the family conscience, which has brought us together in a family, binds us so strongly that uh, as a child, we do have a very strong uh, blind love or the loyalty towards our parents and siblings. So, like Bert has observed that in case of a sibling going through something where they need to be rescued, uh, and one sibling needs to, stop taking the life itself so that their sibling gets it. There have been sessions where it came that the child unconsciously chose to die. So that loyalty is quite strong. So, and the child doesn't even have to think this conscious. They very unconsciously manifest that and go through that. So, why I'm sharing this example is because this is so subtle and this is so unconscious that so many of our behavioral patterns, we might be thinking they are coming from empowering context of helping, siblings or parents or anybody else in the closed circles, might actually be a rescuer pattern. So I remember one case where this lady who's struggling in her own business and finances, in one of the sessions, it came that she was trying to help her father so badly that her own career is suffering. Her own finances are suffering. So that's why we said that, the rescuer is exhausting their energy because their energy is so much put into the victim's problem that they don't have energy left for their own life. So that's one example that comes to my mind. And I have started believing that even if we can't see certain patterns as a problem, when we take on the healing journey, so many things alter for us and we become aware of what used to be normal for me earlier. I knew that I now know that it's not actually coming from a healthy context. So I think that as a byproduct of healing work I find most interesting. Because at least the issue that I'm recognizing consciously, I'll be doing something about it. But things that I think which are very, very normal and healthy, but they are maybe misleading me, I won't even try to do anything about it. And I have not come across anything else other than the therapeutic modalities which can help one to recognize such patterns because they work on the unconscious and subconscious part of the mind. Right, Priya?
Yeah.
So I think this is where uh, we are complete with what we want to share. Yeah, do you have anything to
I
add before we stop the recording?
I have yeah, I have just one more thing to add.
Hmm.
Is we have said this, but in terms of an example, is the rescuer does not think that the victim has enough resources to solve their problem. Now, when I say resources in real life, these resources could be money, these resources could be courage, these resources could be strength. So, either resources from within or resources from outside. So, the rescuer jumps in to provide the resources for the victim, which might sound like I'm just giving from behind. No? I'm giving you financial support from behind, you do, right? But that is not a coach. the rescuer still is underplaying the resources which the victim, so-called victim of the situation, can create for themselves, and hence they are in that situation. So a person goes through the problem to become more resourceful. That is the work of a coach, to make them more resourceful, to help them find the resources that they need and ask for it if they don't have it. So that's how a rescuer can become a coach. So what I want to say is, in practical terms, finances is one place which plays very subtly in many people's lives, where they say, I'm just giving financial support. All the other things, they are only doing it. But that doesn't help, because there is no accountability there from the victim side. So one of them has to stop. And only then the accountability comes in and the true resources start getting created for the creator. Yeah. So when we say from the drama triangle to the empowerment dynamic says that more resources can be created from the situation that is happening. That is the context. And not that whatever resources are there, they should get exhausted, as in the drama triangle. Yeah. So that's one thing. So in real life, maybe, we can reflect, where is it that each of us are playing an unknown rescuer to situations, to people, and not empowering ourselves or them to come out and hold themselves accountable for what's happening.
Yeah.
Right, Gayatri? I think we want to leave them with that reflection.
Yes. And in my view, the beauty of, the rescuer's role is, first of all, they have better energy than the victim. And so they have energy somewhere either equal to or little less than perpetrator. So energy is there. And their context is positive. So if we are a rescuer in any situation, converting the drama triangle to the empowerment dynamics is easiest for the rescuer. Even for victim, we are not saying the victim cannot break this. But victim first need to sit with themselves and ask that, am I really done being a victim? And then I'm really wanting to come out of it. So victim will take more energy than rescuer. So if we are a rescuer in any situation and we are able to ask ourselves these particular questions which Priya suggested, how I feel if victim is not doing anything or victim is going through that. So focus will come here. The energy which is already present can be redirected and used in the right sense. And the rescuer can actually start collapsing the drama track. The first one to realize and the first one to have the energy to do that. So if you find yourself being a victim in any situation, then you might still take time to ask yourself, am I ready? Am I not ready? I want to, but might be a big concern. But if you are a rescuer in any situation, you can actually sit and ask, what am I doing here? Is this really my problem? Or I have made it about my problem? And how can I conserve my energy and what's happening to me? Yeah. So I think that's where we want to stop. I'll stop the recording then.